Assemble! Stay dandy, baby. In the latest episode of the One Piece anime series, Luffy beats the shit out of Batman. That's right, where's Robin when you need him? This was a pretty awesome episode of the One Piece anime series, as Luffy continues to throw down with all of Queen's cronies, and he actually ends up fighting against a guy named Batman and another guy by the name of Gazelle Man. These are members of the crew who have eaten these Smile Devil Fruits and have gained the crazy abilities of animals, and they also happen to be a little bit stronger than some of the fodder that Luffy has been going up against previously. However, they don't really stand a match at all. If anything, this is just an excuse for Luffy to continue his training and to master a brand new form of Haki, which is some sort of invisible armor, where when he actually attacks someone or punches them, apparently he doesn't even need to touch them. So yeah, this is essentially a training arc for Luffy at this point, and in that sense, it's pretty satisfying. And while I really loved all of that and the absolute ridiculousness of a guy named Batman, just a big fat dude who fires arrows, and Gazelle Man, a man who wears frickin' pantyhose and tries to kick Luffy in the face, I think the most memorable thing about this episode has got to be all the stuff with Zoro. And anytime there's an episode which focuses on the character of Zoro, it's always immediately interesting. And this one right here is not only really cool, but it's also got some of the best animation that I've seen from the Wano arc thus far. And I cannot speak volumes about how good they did this big battle sequence between Zoro and a brand new villainous character who goes by the name of Kamazo the Manslayer. But before we actually get to that, we do get to get that amazing scene where Zoro confronts Gyukimaru. It happened at the beginning of the last episode, and now we finally get to see more of it come to fruition. Gyukimaru is just a big beast of a man who has like giant weapons and can even go toe-to-toe with Zoro, although it's very obvious that Zoro seems to be holding back. Now, Gyukimaru's entire beef is the fact that Zoro's trying to take back the sword of Shui, which originally belonged to Ryuma, who was a renowned samurai from the land of Wano. And if any of you guys remember from the Thriller Bark saga, Ryuma was that super-powered samurai zombie. And this is where Zoro got that sword, and it's always been like a big part of his arsenal ever since. But Gyukimaru considers it a treasure of the land of Wano, and it shouldn't belong in the hands of someone like Zoro. Of course, Zoro immediately disagrees and wants to take it back for himself. And this is tying a little bit more into the history of Wano, how it's constantly been sort of ransacked by outsiders, how originally Wano was sort of known like as the land of gold, and that's caused a lot of pirates and other warriors to come to the place and basically take everything for themselves, including these ancient weapons. Of course, Zoro has more noble reasons for wanting to do this, but this doesn't really matter for Gyukimaru, who's simply there just to protect his lands and all of the treasures which lie within. And it's all really freaking awesome. I love their battle here. It's pretty exciting, but things get really intense when we get the introduction of a brand new villain, and it's all starting when we get to see both the return of Komurasaki and of Toko, who are running from some sort of like guy who's trying to kill them, and it's this crazy bastard who goes by the name of Kamazo. He's Kamazo the Manslayer. He's basically just like a killer who lives in Wano, and apparently he's been hired to take down Komurasaki as well as Toko, and this dude is just freaky as all hell. He's covered with bandages, he has giant scythe weapons, and he fights in a really crazy maniacal style. So of course it means he's going to be the perfect type of opponent for Zoro, and they have a short scuffle in this episode which is animated fantastically. Honestly, I can't sell this scene of Zoro battling against Kamazo. It is simply amazing. You have to see it for yourself. It's fast, it's fluid, it's incredibly impactful, and it makes it one of the more amazing fights that I've actually seen from Zoro from the entire series, and that's just like the beginning of it. That's how good this like small little fight scene really is, and it's just getting started. So, what's the rundown on this episode of the One Piece anime series? Again, I think another really solid episode for the Wano arc. It's made me really glad that I've come back to the anime version because it's just so fun to watch this every single week. Again, you might be affected a little bit by the pacing of the show, not that much actually going on. I mean, really the biggest things to take away from this episode was more of Luffy's training and of course all the cool stuff that's going on with Zoro, but there are also little smaller details, like the fact that we still have Big Mom, who has been joining Chopper and their group as they're making their way, you know, to the next big part of the story, and Big Mom still continues to be absolutely the most horrifying looking character in the entire series. Even when she's happy, she will haunt your freaking nightmares forever, and I love how excited she is to try this red bean soup and everything. Like, the way she builds it up and the way that Otama is there talking about it, it makes me want to try it myself. It just, the way they describe the food and everything and the way that they show it off is so great. That and the fact that she continues to make Chopper shit his little reindeer pants, which is, again, really damned funny. But for me, it's all about Zoro this week. I mean, it was just handled so damned well in the introduction of another character, which, again, a lot of people can call that a detriment for the Land of Wano arc. There are just so many characters that are actually going and being introduced in this series. But Kamazo is really cool. It's always great when Zoro has a brand new opponent to go up against, especially someone who can kind of keep up with him. Of course, we do have to realize that while Zoro is down one sword, that doesn't necessarily make him weaker. He's proficient even with one sword. I mean, 3 is definitely where he's going to absolutely dominate. But I'm really anxious to see him get that sword back and to see more of his battle with Kamazo. It looks like we're going to see a lot more of that in the next episode, which I'm very excited for. So I have almost nothing but praise for this episode. I am going to knock it down just a little bit because, again, not too much happened, but everything that was here was incredibly satisfying, and I truly got a lot of enjoyment out of it. Since my return to watching the One Piece anime series, this has been my favorite episode thus far, and man, it is just killer. But you heard my thoughts on this episode. I really want to hear yours. Make sure to sound off in the comments section below and tell me what you thought about the latest episode of the One Piece anime series. What did you think about Luffy continuing his training and battling against Batman and Gazelle Man? Do you think he's eventually going to be going up against the Big Queen himself? And what about Zoro? How do you think he is going to get his sword back? How's he going to do in his battle against Gyaki Maru as well as Kamazo? What do you think of Kamazo overall? His creepy design, his scythe weapons, the weird bandages over the face, the fact that he's basically just a creepy serial killer type of character. What do you hope to see in his battle against the greatest swordsman of all time, Roronoa Zoro? So let's sound off in the comment section, have a big discussion all about it. Make sure to use your devil fruit powers to hit that like button. It helps out these videos tremendously. I'd also like to thank all of my patrons who've been checking out my Patreon page. You guys have been making some really great donations and giving me some fantastic feedback on the channel and all the videos that I'm releasing. Remember, if you guys make a small donation to my Patreon, I will review an anime series of your choice. So please make sure to check that out. Not to mention, you will be added to the list of all of these amazing people who are helping to support this channel. So there it is, my friends. I'll see you all next time, and as always, stay down there, baby.